The Chicago Cubs literally have one of their worst weekends this season, dropping four games, a four-series set, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to the Cincinnati Reds, allowing the Cincinnati Reds to get back into the playoffs because they own the tiebreaker over the New York Mets, which is the next team the Chicago Cubs play starting Tuesday. We got to talk about their abysmal weekend and their offensive woes. We also got to talk about Matt Shaw missing the game. I know it's for reasons or whatnot. I really don't want to make this all political, but we'll dive into that a little bit. And then last but not least, we have to talk about Craig Counsell making some decisions when it comes to crafting this roster that he believes can make a deep playoff run. Who's on the list? Who's off the list? And I want your opinion on it all right after this. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones, here with you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys. Make sure that if this is your first time watching, that you hit that subscribe button. Also, if this is your first time watching and you're catching us on Spotify or on Apple, listen, we appreciate you. Please leave a 5-star review and let us know what you liked about the show. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. You guys been rocking with me all season long. We done went through a channel transition. And then after that, we lost one channel over some BS. And then, like I said, we still come back. And you guys are still rocking with me, still watching, still tuning in, still commenting, still getting that like button. Listen, I appreciate it so much. It means the world to me. Now, let's talk about the Chicago Cubs. And listen. They had an abysmal weekend in Cincinnati. It was horrible, horrible. I think that the Chicago Cubs literally had a championship hangover without winning a championship. They dropped all four games to the Cincinnati Reds. Literally, two of those games not being able to muster up even one run, even when they got guys on first and on second, even when they got guys on third, literally just not being able to take care of business and do what they need to do to get the clutch run that you need, or the clutch hit that you need in order to drive in the run. It's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate because you look at the Chicago Cubs team and you say to yourself, gosh, man, we're headed into the postseason. We should have all these great feelings about this club and what they're getting ready to do, how they're getting ready to be successful. But no, it almost feels like instead of heading into the postseason with momentum after you sweep the Pirates, then you turn around and relinquish that momentum by dropping four straight to the Cincinnati Reds. Four straight to the Cincinnati Reds. Now you have to play another team that's trying to get in with that last wild card spot in the New York Mets. You place them for three starting on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you welcome in the Cardinals, who are out of it potentially, pretty much out of it. I'm sure by Tuesday or Wednesday they'll probably be out of it for sure. But you play the Cardinals that are out of it, and now you have to try to fend them off or whatnot, to try to, hold down that top wild card spot. I just think that this club got complacent. I think they partied a little bit too hard over the weekend, and I think that they found themselves in a situation where they met a team that is still fighting for something. And the Chicago Cubs look like a team that's not fighting for anything. They look like a team that feels like they've already won. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because there was more winning to do. Now, obviously, on Sunday, the Brewers, even though they lost to the Cardinals, clinched the National League title, National League Central title for the third straight year, which is bullshit. And we'll discuss that in the offseason, what the Cubs need to do to have the Brewers relinquish that National League Central championship. That'll be a show on and of itself. But Chicago Cubs, man, you got a playoff spot. You got a guaranteed playoff spot. You will be in the wild card now. You know you're going to play in the wild card. You don't know who you're going to play, but you run the risk of catching a matchup that you really don't want to have to play. You don't want to have to, struggle, and especially you want to give yourself every opportunity to win, and one of those opportunities is playing at home at Wrigley. I really think the Chicago Cubs would do better playing at home at Wrigley. You're already going to have to start let's say you win the wild card in the next series. You're already going to have to start the next series, the division series, playing on the road. It doesn't even matter where you win or who you beat. You'll end up playing on the road. So, like I said, but for the wild card, to secure the wild card and to secure that top spot and get all 3 games at Wrigley Field, I think would be amazing. And I think that it would lend to the Chicago Cubs getting have an opportunity to really win, and it's frightening to me because this team just offensively have fallen right back into a slump, right back into a lull. And it's just one of those situations where, like I said, the Chicago Cubs have to figure out what they're doing. The Chicago Cubs have to figure out what's going on, and they have to figure out how they can be better heading into the postseason. Like I said, you look at the weekend. Some of these guys had abysmal weekends, scoring wise, and it showed. It showed in the way they played. It showed in their attitudes. It showed, as they left the field, and it just looked bad. I mean, to lose not 1 but 2 games out of the 4 that you got swept, but not even scoring a run, shut out twice. I mean, that's pretty bad, pretty bad. Jameson Taillon took his 7th loss of the season. He's 10-7 now. He'll probably pitch one more time for the Chicago Cubs. Hopefully he can get a win and be 11-7 on the season. Nico Horner in this game went 0 for 4. His batting average is down to .299. Ian Happ went 1 for 4. Seiya Suzuki went 1 for 4. Carson Kelly went 0 for 3. They had Santana in the game. He went 1 for 2. Moises Ballesteros pinch hit DH for him and went 0 for 1. Dansby Swanson went 1 for 4. Justin Turner went 0 for 3. Willie Castro went 0 for 1. Michael Busch went 1 for 3. Kevin Alcantara went 1 for 2. And Pete Armstrong went 0 for 2 in this game, on Sunday's game. And you just look at this and you say to yourself, man, like, what happened? What happened? You guys, Jameson Taillon pitched 7 innings in this game, and you mean to tell me you couldn't even muster up 1 run in order to allow him to be able to get to at least tie and not be on the hook for the loss? Like, come on, man. Come on, offense. You guys got to figure it out. Figure it out. This is too unfortunate that this keeps happening. Keeps happening to our pitchers. Like I said, Jameson Taillon showed you that he's good to go, that he's ready to compete come postseason. And you can pull him out of the bullpen, like I said, if you want to in the postseason also. You have options. You have to figure something out. And we're going to talk about Craig Counsell and his construction of the team heading into the postseason and what they're going to do. But yeah, this is just a disastrous weekend for the Cubs by all metrics. You sweep the Pirates, clinch a playoff spot, and follow that up by getting swept by a division rival with a week to play. And like I said, it's just it causes fans not to have much hope in the Chicago Cubs making a long October run, playing almost into November. That like this is what leads us to believe that the Chicago Cubs are going to, be out of this before, but like I said, before long. Like they might not even make it out of the wild card. The Cubs have lost 4 straight for the first time in 2025. They lead over the Padres for home field wild card in games is down to 3 games now. Padres own the tiebreaker with the better intra-division record because the Cubs and the Padres tied for the season series 3-3. So, like I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. I worry about the Chicago Cubs. I worry about what this postseason is going to look like, and this how quickly this could all come crashing down for this team that has aspirations to do more. But it's going to come down to a couple of things. It's going to have to come down to all these players buying in, which is what we'll kind of talk about in the next segment. I have been talking ad nauseum, and I still will continue to talk about the product, the brand that has changed my life and can change yours too. What's that product? It's Dubby. It's an all-natural energy supplement that you can take
on the daily to help you get through those urges, those moments when you want to nap, then when you hit the cliff, or if you had a long night the night before and need to get through another crazy day of the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, whatever you got going on, Dubby is your energy drink. That's right. Not to mention, when you buy a container of Dubby, it actually equals out to almost $1 per drink. You can mix it in with whatever you want, whether that be a juice, whether that be a water, whether that be some type of other energy flavored drink, whatever you want, you can mix Dubby with it and it will do the trick for you. Guys, I don't understand what you're waiting on. Dubby takes care of everything for you. All you have to do is go on to the Dubby website and place your order. And at this time, when you do that, all you have to do is put in Cubs Central Pod 2024. That's right, Cubs Central Pod 2024, and you get 10% off on your Dubby order. That's right. Hey, listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, Jitterless Energy. They have all different types of different flavors for you. Dubby has what you need. Be better with Dubby.
On Sunday, the Chicago Cubs lost to the Cincinnati Reds, and they were without their third baseman, Matt Shaw. Bruce Levine reported, everybody was talking ahead of time once they found out that Shaw wasn't playing, that it was due to it had to be due to something medical, right? He must have been sick or not feeling well or anything like that. Come to find out, it was due to Matt Shaw traveling to, I believe it was Arizona, for the memorial service for Charlie Kirk. With respect to the dead and everything like that, I want to keep this basically talking about sports. I want to keep this talking about the team. I don't want to get into anything political. I down below, if you want to comment what you feel. I'm proud. If you go into politics, I'm not replying back. I'm not getting into that with anybody. And this may sound harsh, but you were at the time still in the middle of a pennant race, and you are one of the better defensive players on the team at third base, one of the better defensive third basemen in all of the National League. You've proven that this season. Your team needed you, and I don't know what his relationship was like with Charlie Kirk. I assume that it must have been, very, very close. And I know Matt Shaw is a religious man. I guess for me, when it comes time to the postseason, you need to buy in. And I understand that, yeah, everybody's seen the picture surface of Michael Bush and Matt Shaw taking a picture with Charlie Kirk after Charlie Kirk passed away. I can appreciate the fact that he was your friend and he was somebody that meant something to you. But we're in the middle of trying to secure a wild card spot, and we're in the middle of trying to, secure something to help drive in a deep postseason run. I'm sorry that your friend passed away. I'm sorry that your friend was shot and killed. I'm sorry that, these things happen. This is not something that should be taken lightly whatsoever. And I understand that, kudos to Craig Counsell. I think it built a lot of good faith with him and the organization, that the organization allowed Matt Shaw to do what he needed to do. And goes to be, I guess, I don't know if he took his whole family. I don't know if he just went. I don't know how close he was to Charlie Kirk's family or whatnot, but he went. And we know that he was there. And for me, I look at this and I say, now is the time for you to buy into the team and kind of put the team and what's best for the team above things like this that you wanted to do. If you were going to be a keynote speaker, if it was like a close family member or something like that, that's a little bit of a different story. But you missed 2 games over this situation unfortunate situation. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible, but at the same time get a point across here that we needed you. And the fact that you did not show up for the team in two of those very important games, you know, kind of lends me to question how bought in, how focused are you heading into this very, very, very important postseason? Are you going to be able to focus? Are you going to be able to play your best? Or are we going to have to put Willie Castro at third base? I mean, that's just kind of the what we're looking at here. Guys, we as a team are trying to do something here that the Chicago Cubs have not done in years. Win a playoff series. Cubs haven't won a playoff series since 2017. We have a lot going on and a lot that we're trying to accomplish. And in order for us to accomplish that, you're going to have to buy in, and some sacrifices are going to have to be made. Now, again, if you know Charlie Kirk's your best friend and you guys talked every single day, I mean, I get it. I'm sorry. But like if y'all was just like cool, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all was like friends, but like y'all not like best friends. Like if Matt Shaw got married and Charlie Kirk wouldn't have been, you know what I'm saying? He probably would have been the minister to marry him. I don't know. We're getting into the weeds. Matt Shaw, we need you to buy in. We need you to focus on baseball. And I know that's hard. It's a lot of distractions going on around the world. You have to focus strictly on baseball. Sir, you are trying to show the Chicago Cubs that you are the third baseman of not only today, but the third baseman of the future. And that you have a long, bright future holding down the hot corner for the Chicago Cubs. It starts now. It starts now. And you have to show now that you can focus. I hope that Matt Shaw can prove that he is focused and that the Chicago Cubs did not make a mistake by not trading for somebody else to play third base. We'll just have to see what happens. Last but not least, we have to talk about the construction of the Chicago Cubs team. I look at some of these players that had to play. I look at the Justin Turners of the world. I look at, you know, the Carlos Santanas of the world. I look at these older players and I say to myself, you know, these guys probably shouldn't see no time during the postseason. Carlos Santana should not be seeing time during the postseason. You know, Justin Turner might see limited moments in the postseason. But the Chicago Cubs need to have their guys ready to go. Roster construction is very, very key. And it's a part of what we're going to look at for Craig Counsell. What can you muster out of these guys? What can you pull out of these guys to get the best out of them? How are you as a leader, as a motivator? Can you get the best, the very best out of this team? Only time will tell. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts on all of this. And last but not least, I do have a mailbag. Shout out to Steven. He is one of the guys that watches all the time. He says, "Hey, Big Mike, what are the chances Cubs are conspiring, not a word in parentheses, to lose games to Reds to only play a part in parentheses again? Who goes to the dance?" Well, I would tell you this. As crazy as this may sound, and as vulnerable as the New York Mets have looked at certain parts this season, I would much rather play the Reds than play the Mets in the postseason. The Mets have a lot of firepower. The Mets have one of the best closers in the game. The Mets have a lot of pieces. So in my eyes, I look at that and I say to myself, I would much rather face the Mets. Face the Reds in the postseason than face the Mets. Even though the Mets are born choke artists, I still think that you would have a much harder go against the Mets than you would against the Cincinnati Reds. So, I mean, take that for what it is. I mean, the Cubs probably won't even see the Reds in the postseason, but like I said, they did them no favor, or they did them a huge favor by dropping 4 games to them, allowing the Reds to take over that third and final wild card spot. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Speaking of the Mets, they are the next team the Chicago Cubs face. The Cubs, who are 88-68, going up against the 80-76 New York Mets. It'll be on Tuesday. Drew Peterson. I believe that's Drew Peterson. David Peterson. I'm sorry, I said Drew Peterson. David Peterson on the bump for the Mets at Wrigley against Cade Horton. And then you will see Matthew Boyd pitch for the final time, and he will be going up against Jonah Tong for the New York Mets. And then last but not least, you will see Shota Imanaga pitch his last game of the regular season, and he will go up against Brandon Sproat of the New York Mets. So we'll just have to see how it goes. The Chicago Cubs are favored to win the series and win all 3 games. We'll just have to see what happens with that. Like I said, the Mets do still have firepower. Like I said, in their with their team, you're going to see Juan Soto. You're going to see Frankie Lindor. You're also going to see Pete Alonso also. So we'll just have to see what happens. We will have to see what happens. But yeah, man, that's my time. Appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the Chicago Cubs can get some more victories and get above that 91 win mark, which I was really hoping that they could do. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching. Go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.